Rockets postgame presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It might not have been pretty, but you know what they say, and it's a cliche for a reason. A win is a win. The Rockets get the win here at Toyota Center tonight. 115-113 is your final score. Hi, everybody. I'm Vanessa Richardson. This, of course, is the Hall of Famer, Calvin Murphy. How would you describe what you saw the last couple minutes from the Rockets? Again, we know it wasn't pretty, but it got the job done.
Well, you know what? To me, it was pretty. And I'm going to tell you why, because they found a way to win.
Pretty like your suit.
Thank you. But they found a way to win. You know, yeah, the game was a comedy of errors from time to time. But coming down the stretch, there were some questionable calls on both sides. But nevertheless, the Rockets were able to withstand the onslaught when the Clippers got back into the game.
Yes.
I was afraid after there were a couple of questionable calls against the Rockets were going to lose their composure, but they didn't. So that's where the game was won. They maintained, they made a couple of big shots. Thank you.
It shows, obviously, you know, a lot of maturity and a lot of poise that they're able to stay in it and get the win, especially against a Clippers team that has a lot of veterans on it. Let's go to our Fun Can't Lose, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And for this, okay, Reed Shepherd misses the basket. Albie tried. Albie tries again. Amin finally gets it. That was a massive bucket, of course. It gave the Rockets the lead.
You know, when you start looking at the rebounding tonight, the Rockets were, let me look at this here. They were a plus 23 on the glass tonight against the Clippers, 51-28. So that was the biggest rebounding play right there. I can't believe that the Clippers stood flat-footed as the Rockets played volleyball and was able eventually to get it in the basket.
All right, you're seeing some offensive fouls here with Jabari Smith Jr. and then Kawhi Leonard as well. The one with Kawhi was clear as day. I honestly, I guess you can't take the challenges home with you, but I was surprised the Clippers coach challenged that. And then, of course, Batum just here finally this inbounds play. Big mistake for somebody that is a veteran.
Yeah, well, he never expected that to be called in the first place, but it was a big call. It was the correct call. But here's the situation when we're talking about the challenges. You know, he had nothing to lose because that was obviously an offensive call, an offensive foul. Now, when you start talking about Jabari fighting for his life on the basket and they call it for an offensive foul, I got a problem with that one.
Yeah, interesting, definitely. All right, let's go to head coach Ime Udoka's press conference.
Late there in the fourth, you had those buckets where I think it was Kevin to Alperen to Amen, and then I think it was Kevin to Alperen to Jabari on those kind of backdoor lobs. Is that just an example of the gravity Kevin has that maybe this team didn't have last year?
Yeah, we've been seeing that all year. Teams are going to go after him and make others make them prove it. And so, as always, we love Alpy in the pocket, being a playmaker, scorer. You know, reads the game very well, but also can score the ball. And so, if they want to give us a numbers advantage, he's going to find them in this spot, Jabari on that one, or score it himself. And that's what teams have been doing all year. Just got to continue to hammer that home, and take advantage of that.
With one of the strengths of this team being offensive rebounding, how fitting is it that one of the biggest baskets of the game came off of that type of effort?
Yeah, we basically doubled up. We had 11 in the first, 11 in the second. Knew we had an advantage there, one of our strengths, obviously. And, you know, when we're turning the ball over at that high rate, we want to get some back. And so, you know, the message is take care of the ball, win the possession battle, which is not turning over, getting extra possessions on the glass, and something we've been doing well all year. But I think our guards had a concerted effort to crash from the perimeter a little bit more tonight.
What have you really seen during those stretches when Reed and Aaron have been out there together, and what do you like about what they did tonight? Yeah,
it was great. They injected some juice into the game, pace and aggressiveness, and you know, just the speed that we need to play with. I felt like we were playing in mud a little bit, first half specifically, but playing at their pace, and we want to get stops, get up and down, and try to run this team. And when they did that in that 3-4 minutes span there, went to 9 pretty quickly. So just gave them kudos in there for what they did to change the tempo and pace of the game tonight. But they were both great, just on both sides of the ball.
How pleased are you to see that you had 6 players in double figures tonight, especially with the team, the Clippers focused to try to take out KD?
Yeah, that was the other thing we said in there. It was a full team effort. A lot of guys stepped up, obviously, the 2 we just mentioned off the bench, but really balanced. You know, Kevin came out, had his scoring spurt in the third quarter there, and they went right back after him in the fourth quarter to try to take him out. And so we feel our depth and versatility allow us to not just rely on one guy, and you see that based on the numbers tonight. So he can have an off night and other guys step up, especially young fellas off the bench.
Of course, James Harden's entire career, he's been known to be able to get to the free throw line. He only got there 5 times tonight. What do you think of your overall team's effort to keep him off the free throw line? And he went 7 for 18 from the field.
Yeah, I think we did okay. I think we had a few reach downs. When we were in good position, Reed had one there, and then the late foul by Jabari. That's 3 of those 5 right there. But in general, it's plan to be disciplined and averages 9 a game, and it's a big part of them getting rest, him getting to the line, getting in the rhythm. And so, we focused on that. Definitely a point of emphasis, and guys have known, they've been around and guarding him enough now. So decent for the most part. We don't like to foul 3-point shooters. He's leading the league in that category, and he got 1 there. But overall, I think guys did a solid job.
Reed is starting to show some pretty audacious skip passes, it seems like, either hand, stuff like that. Does that seem to be part of his development as a point guard, being able to see the whole kind of breadth of the floor?
Yeah, and that's what it's going to take. It's just about mixing it in, scoring, and making the plays for himself or others. And he's with the defensive stepping up on him, like they are now with him knocking down shots. I think being able to read the pocket or the skip pass is big. He made some really nice passes, and that's just his next step in evolution is creating that space. But I think the fact that he's scoring the ball so well is attracting that much more attention on him.
Zubac was able to get the amount of points that he did tonight, but how do you feel about your team's overall ability to be physical back with him? It was one of those things where he was trying to be more physical on Jabari, on Şengün, but how impressed were you that your players were able to withstand that?
Yeah, I did a decent job. There's a big body down there, and we're switching matchups to put Alpion Dunn, and so Jabari has his hands full. As far as that, they go to him quite a bit. I think he's the second most post-up touches in the league this year behind Jokic, and so we knew he was going to get his touches, and that's something we're willing to live with is him and keep it out of the other two guys' hands. So we'll trade it off, those contested 2s inside and make him prove it. But, yeah, he had a really good game and kind of brought them life at times when they were down. Thank you.
Hey, great stuff from Ime Udoka. Coming up, we're going to talk about Alperen Şengün, who, of course, had an awesome night. Coming back from a couple days, a couple games gone with an illness. We'll talk about it next.
Rockets postgame on Space City Home Network is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Fun can't lose. By Reliant, official energy partner of the Houston Rockets. And by your Houston area Genesis retailers. Discover the award-winning Genesis lineup today.